This episode, sponsored by Grey Whale Gin. Play us in for the love of God. Oh, I'm so happy to be back. Episode which one?
4.
4? It took us a year to do a follow-up episode?
That it did.
Well, a year later, they said we wouldn't be back. And they said we couldn't do it, and we did it. And I am celebrating as, I'm celebrating twofold. I'm celebrating my 21st birthday.
Happy birthday.
Also celebrating the return of Low Orbit. This is an exciting and momentous occasion. And also celebrating the fact that we're on video and celebrating the fact that we're moving everything to YouTube.
That's right.
And also celebrating Yom Kippur, which is a Jewish holiday that is today.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know what that is. But today is Yom Kippur. Today is...
Do you know what that is?
Do you know what that is?
No.
I don't know what that is.
How do you spell it?
I'm about a quarter of the way through this drink. And it's going good. Y-O-M. Wait, but your typing's going to be... Okay.
It's fine.
Here, I'll do a warning. If you
Yom Kippur, also known as the Day of Atonement, is the holiest day of the year in Judaism.
The holiest.
So
but what does it mean?
Important. Its central themes are atonement and repentance. Jews traditionally observe this holy day with a day-long fast and intensive prayer, often spending most of the day in synagogue services. Wow.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to be in a synagogue tomorrow morning if this does what I think it's going to do. All right. It's also Bosniak's Day, International Bosniak Day.
Here we go.
Do you know what a Bosniak is?
No.
I don't either.
I
don't think I can look it up. Well, I think that's only in Macedonia they're celebrating that.
I would maybe because it says a native or inhabitant of the Balkan country Bosnia and Herzegovina.
You tried.
Who is Muslim.
Well, if you're a Bosniak and you're listening to this, who are we kidding? There are no Bosniaks listening to this. Hey, but it is World Rabies Day. And you could have rabies and be listening to this. I feel like that crossover is much more
likely,
probable.
Or maybe someone's pet has it.
Remember when Michael Scott did the rabies fun run pro-am for the cure?
Yes.
Man, I used to have that Dunder Mifflin shirt. Where did it go? I'm just realizing I don't have that shirt anymore.
I don't know.
I bought it from Six Flags. It's not at your house?
No, but I know.
Well, today is also Queen's birthday in Australia. Does Australia have a queen? I thought they did like a president thing, democracy. Excuse me.
It's just Queen?
It says Queen's birthday, Australia.
Maybe that's a city over.
Why would it be the birthday of a city called Queen?
Oh, it's saying it's Elizabeth II.
Oh, Elizabeth. Didn't know you had ties in the down under. Very cool, Elizabeth. Well, also in Australia is Family and Community Day.
Wow, it's a lot of holidays today.
So, it's good that if we were in Australia, we'd be celebrating this brotherly bond.
That's right.
Day of Bosnians, another Bosnian holiday. I'll drink to that. Bosnians, Bosniak. What do you have in that pink heart cup?
Good old-fashioned water.
That's the way to go. That's the way to go. If you're listening, that's the way to go. Truly.
Red alert, everyone. Red alert. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon.
Subscribe.
That's right.
Listen, the only people listening to this podcast right now are our dearest friends and family, and I know that for a fact. So if you care about me at all, you're going to tell your friends that there's a hilarious podcast called Low Orbit and that it's on YouTube and it's super accessible and super funny. And if I mean anything to you, you're going to do that. And you're going to, do all the normal YouTube stuff and subscribe and whatever. But actually, I was thinking about like, if I really care about like getting the word out and advertising everywhere. And I'm in my head, I'm like, it would be nice to monetize this if this ever got to that sort of reach. But also, right. I feel like the only reason we're doing a podcast at all is not to monetize it and grow an audience. It's just because
we are the Wikipedia of podcasts. We just do it for the people.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I wasn't sure where you're going with that analogy. We do it for the people. We're just here to shoot the shit and have a good time. And, but I mean, if we end up growing an audience.
Well, we're at 10 right now, 10 subscribers.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Right. Are you serious?
You don't see it right here? 10 subscribers.
No, I have my screen positioned to where it's just our two faces.
So they can see my stream.
I feel like I wasn't expecting that. That's awesome. 10 already. I'll take it. I will take it.
20 subscriber giveaway.
Hey guys, if we can get to 20 subscribers, I will do a giveaway of
a sticky note saying how much we love you.
I will give away. Check this out. I don't have anything to give away. I have some stuff on my. I thought I was just gonna pull some trash and make like a bad joke, but it's far too unfunny to actually.
I have this deep brand microfiber cloth.
I have microfiber cloths up the wazoo. Look at all these. If you want microfiber cloths, and I have more where that came from. Oh, here I got it. If you're watching this. Oh, shoot. I think I peaked the audio when I screamed.
Maybe.
Hey, if you're watching this and you have a Nintendo Switch Lite, 20 subscribers, giveaway, a skin. Ignore that one. This is a dark robot kind of skin. It's hard to see there. Also have just a plain gray. D brand calls it pastel black. Okay.
How many people are going to have a Switch Lite?
Enough. Ouch. So, it's also mezcal in Ethiopia.
Don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is either. Happy mezcal. Today's Teacher's Day in Taiwan. As if Teacher's Day wasn't important enough in America, I'm sure it's much more important in Taiwan.
Probably.
Which is not a racist comment.
No.
But America is a first world country. Taiwan is not. And I'm sure it's just more difficult. There is all I'm saying. I just think it's more difficult. And I already said on previous podcasts, teachers deserve the utmost respect. So Taiwanese teachers, I will drink to that.
Hats off.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, my hair is... You can see why I wore a hat.
Quarantine hair.
This is the epitome of quarantine hair. Yeah. If you happen to be watching this years in advance, this is being recorded during the Great American Quarantine. Well, the Great International Quarantine, actually.
Yeah.
Obviously, COVID-19, SARS-CoV-2, coronavirus. I was watching an Oliver Tree video. And he was talking about how he had to cancel his album. And he's like, well, he's trying to be professional. Well, we had to cancel the album due to the COVID-19. So COVID-19 has swept the earth and started in China. And America was like, no, that Eastern flu is never going to make it over here. And people started dropping dead. And so It is September. Since March, we have been part of the Great American Quarantine. Living it up. Living it up. Not really. How are you handling it? I guess you don't really go anywhere anyway, huh?
No, I don't really do much, actually. Basically, my life schedule is I wake up at 8 a.m. I have school at 8:30. I'm in school till 2:12 in the afternoon. And then the rest of the day, I'm pretty much just either playing games or doing homework.
Yeah, I feel like you I feel like we're both pretty lucky with the way this is working out for us.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we don't go anywhere. Like we can't. I do miss that. Just like getting together with the boys and going, let's go out to the beach or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm a pretty big homebody anyway. I'm not going to complain that I get to stay home and play video games. I did work at Skechers when we recorded our last podcast. I remember talking about the race
I believe
wars.
so. Yeah.
I quit Skechers over the quarantine because I wasn't getting any hours. Unemployment has got me covered for a little bit. I'm still searching. If you guys know anyone that's hiring, don't want to do customer service. Office job is really honestly what I'm looking for. A solitary job is what I'm looking for. The more solitary, the better. I feel like if I have a little cubicle, I want a position where I have a cubicle and I'm just doing computer work. I get my stuff done, clock in, clock out. It's good. But yeah, so the financials have been kind of doing some of these, but I'm making it. There are some strains overall, but we found ways to make this quarantine
I feel
survivable.
It's definitely gotten a lot better over time, actually.
It's gotten better.
Used to it.
It has gotten better. It's gotten very much better. Yeah, because at first it was like weird and we didn't know how to take it. And
yeah,
for us and our friend group, like now we're more comfortable with the situation as a whole and recognizing what is safe and what isn't safe.
Yeah.
And just the right way to do things, just to be smart about things, which is not to say about, I guess a really big portion of the country with this anti-mask thing.
Yeah, that's, I don't know. I don't know what that is.
Every time I see that crop up, these whole anti-mask things, it blows my mind because we ask our people to do something so simple. Okay. Now, I could be completely wrong, but I think John F. Kennedy might have said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
I feel like I've heard that before, actually.
The whole idea of like sacrificing yourself for the greater good and all that. And our country is asking you to wear a mask and people are throwing mondominous fits. I can't believe this is real life.
I mean, it just kind of shows you kind of the way we're screwing over the world with this new generation. I mean, we've just the way we've taught them is just, if you want something, complain and you'll get it. Like,
I have 2 points. I have 2 things to say about that. My first point is that I usually don't like saying like, oh, this generation, this generation, that, because every generation has had their things or whatever. And every generation says about the next one, oh, this one's the shitty generation and look how they're doing this and that.
Yeah.
So I'm hesitant to even say that at all. But also it's like, I don't know the stats or, but based on just what I've seen, it seems like it's not the newer generation who's doing the anti-mask stuff. It's our parents.
Yeah.
It's the Gen what are they, Gen X? I mean, boomers, it's funny because boomers, the elderly, I think are boomers pretty much.
Yeah. Those were the kids like
Like
born.
they're being smart about this, which I don't have anything against boomers or Gen X or whatever, but traditionally like boomers are memed on because they're like out of touch and whatever, however they want to do those groups. But I feel like the boomers are now more in tune with, oh yeah, well, we should wear masks. People die.
Yeah.
And they're like, they have the darndest excuses. I think you saw the video where they go to City Hall and they're talking about the right to wear a mask. And she's like, they're taking away our oxygen, our right to breathe.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's insane. Yeah. And I tell you this, and I tell the Discord this every time. Every day, I'm continuously surprised at the amount of stupidity that just runs rampant in the world.
Yeah.
Like it really truly blows my mind.
I feel like one thing that's happening is with these new generations, way more people are just sheeps now.
Sheeps?
And they just kind of like they follow. Everyone just kind of goes along. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But I don't think that it necessarily is to do with the generation.
It's not always
themselves.
bad, but just I feel like the way certain things that people are sheep to. Like how
I think go on.
Well, no, you could go.
No, please. I insist.
Go on.
I really want you to say what you had to say. And I'm going to get mad if you don't.
I'm going to get controversially politically right now.
God bless. I'll drink to that.
I feel one thing that's definitely been the bandwagon or followed is what's really big topic of police like brutality and stuff, and how people like who get all their news from Twitter, and it's like these accounts that post 12-second clips of arrests.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, these officers didn't have to do this. Or why do these officers shoot so many times? Like no one takes the time to understand why people do what they do. Like you need to understand that if you were in that position and someone charged you with a knife and let's say you shot them in the chest 7 times, right? And people are saying, why'd you shoot that many times? You're not trained to shoot them once. You're trained to eliminate the threat. And people don't realize that, but they don't care because they just want to fit in with everyone else who's just saying, police are bad.
Okay, I agree to an extent. I think that there are many situations where people jump on that bandwagon. And there are many situations where they jump on that bandwagon and it's not warranted and there is more to the story. But I think generally speaking, I do think there is something that can be done about the way our police are trained.
Yeah.
And generally speaking, I do think these protests that have been happening for years now, and years and years about police brutality are not for no reason. Like that's just not the way it works.
Yeah.
People are seeing repetition of unjust, things that these cops are doing and use of excessive force far more than is necessary. It is a trend, and that is really happening. Would you agree?
Yes. There's definitely bad cops out there.
There is, and there's a lot of them, and I think it does have to do with, I think it could have to do with the training. I'm not going to claim to know all the ins and outs of the police department. I don't know what they do.
I watch a lot of stuff like that, and it definitely is a part of the training because, not everyone. People like one of the biggest arguments is less than lethal rounds.
Sure.
And what people don't understand is that not every agency has the money and the access to get these things. And it's not even that a less than lethal round is always effective. But it's like, I think sorry, I'll let you go after this. But like one of the stupidest things I think is when people are saying to defund the police. Because
I was going to say that.
You're complaining about police brutality and how people are not trained, and you're complaining about why they use certain methods. But what people don't understand is that that's because they don't have the money to give their officers the training or to give them the equipment that they need.
I was going to say that I am completely on board with the protests against police brutality and excessive force and Black Lives Matter. I think that's an important thing to push. If you care about something, you should voice your opinion 100%. Yeah. Unless it's just clearly inherently wrong. Like, you know, I was gonna make a comment about like the Nazi youth, but that's outdated reference. But I mean, but you know, it was very like a social thing. Like, you know, we're building the Third Reich. But anyway, people knew that was clearly a misstep.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is I'm on board with all that. Not the Nazi youth, the BLM and the protest.
Right.
But to say defund the police is just insane. You need to fund these programs, man. If you want better training and I just don't understand the good from defunding that. You defund the police and they don't even have the means to protect you now because you know, crime is just, unfortunately, I think, a part of human nature. Yeah. Also, I think the types of crimes we're seeing are partially just a product of our society.
Definitely.
And the way we structure our society and our economy, partially. But to say defund the police, like, no, that is not the answer.
I have a question for you. Now, this is separate, but it's kind of along the same lines. I want to know your opinion on people who are talking about demilitarizing the police. Do you think that's a problem?
Demilitarizing? What does that mean?
Yeah, because people are saying that, you know, the police are they're too powerful. They're too much like the military. You know, giving them like, you know how like the SWAT has their armored vans with a mounted turret on the top.
Tell me this. Tell me, what does it mean to demilitarize the police?
I think what people are trying to get across is that, you know, I'm not sure completely on this. I haven't looked too much into that, but like people, you know, how the police have access to rifles and all these other things like that, riot shields, not like bulletproof shields and stuff like that, or the armored vans with the mounted turrets on top. And what people don't understand is that that's not really the problem. It's just that you need to have that sort of thing. And like, for example, what happened...
And it's not like those are even used very frequently either.
Yeah, like, because people are saying demilitarize them, but then what would you do in a situation, I believe it was 2018 when San Bernardino, the terrorist attack had happened? Like, it's not as easy to get the military out there to help with us, but when you have agencies like the SWAT who have the means necessary to do that, it's almost essential. And in other countries, like in Mexico, for example, you know, they have like military Humvees with M249 saws on the top that they use in regular police. Like I was watching this video, it was a normal police chase with the cartel, and they were in a chase with them, and they were using their mounted LMG against them. And people here, I just feel like it's the way people see the police using it here, but it's only in like, it's such minuscule amounts a year, but people just apply it to everything.
Well, I think demilitarizing, I think when people say that, they don't really know what they're talking about. I don't think they really know what they're implying to demilitarize. Because I mean, like I'm not going to say, I had to ask you what that means. I don't know what it really means to say, let's demilitarize the police. Yeah. And we don't know like we don't even know how that works. Like what the training is like, what the allocation of funds is like, in terms of whether it goes to whatever gear or training or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think it just kind of goes hand in hand with defunding the police. Like, that's not, I don't know. In my mind, it seems very clear that that's not the answer, is to defund the police. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that issue like stems,
I guess,
from. Like the root issue of excessive force and police brutality.
I think I could, just as like a final point, I think what happens a lot is, even with officers who are well trained, sometimes people don't really know how to respond to police properly. And I think that causes a lot of incidents that shouldn't have happened, like accidental shootings, like people who are reaching around in their car. Do you want to
May
say
I
something?
interject?
Yeah, sure.
I agree. But I think the thing is, it's not that people should have to know how to respond to police, because that's like a fairly foreign thing for the average person.
Yeah.
I think it's the police have to learn how to respond to people.
Yeah, I think a big part of it is just the stigma too around police.
I think nowadays that could be problematic, but I don't think that's a huge deal, to be honest. Just like the stigma. But that got way more political than I anticipated it to be. How did we veer off on that tirade? Doesn't matter.
I don't remember.
Doesn't
We're talking
matter.
about millennials and boomers and stuff.
Well, hey, there's a few more national holidays.
Oh, wow, there's more.
National Good Neighbor Day. Be good to your neighbors. I ordered a package the other day and it wasn't here when it said it was delivered. And I walked outside, searched everywhere, and it wasn't there. And I thought, Nana said, well, maybe they delivered it to the neighbor's house. So I didn't want to go and ring the doorbell and say, hey, did you get a package? But Nana's like, no, I'll go look with you. So Nana goes and walks onto the neighbor's porches and inspects them for my package. We don't find it.
Yeah.
And so, I'm not going to disclose my address, but all you need to know is that there is an east version of my address, and there is a west version. So I'm like, maybe they delivered it to the west. And so I'm go out to the thing. I'm about to get in my car and go drive over to this other address. And on my way out, my neighbor comes out and says, that'll be $5 for your mail. That's not how a Mexican sounds. He was a Mexican guy, and I just did a bad accent. Was it racist? No. Was it a poor attempt at a Mexican accent? Yeah. Anyway, he comes out. He had my mail, and he gave it to me. And he was like, jokingly charging me. So
yeah,
he was a good neighbor. Today's Good Neighbor Day, but he was a good neighbor. Strawberry cream pie day. I've never had it. Sounds terrific.
Strawberry cream. I gotta say one thing. Here's cake, right? We'll put it up right here. Here's cake. Cheesecake.
Wow. Here's cake. Here's cheesecake, I think.
Ooh.
It depends on the cheesecake. But generally speaking, I do like it better. Today's also National North Carolina Day.
Wow, I didn't even know we did that.
Yeah, I don't know what's worth having a national day over.
I know where North Carolina is on the map.
Above the south one.
Yeah.
That's all we need to know.
I guess so.
And lastly, but definitely not least, National Drink Beer Day.
That's not beer.
No, it's gin, but close enough.
If you're listening, you're of age, go to your fridge. You got one, crack it open, relax, watch the podcast.
If you're listening and you're of age and you don't have a beer in your fridge, go buy one. Come back.
Pause the podcast. Pause it, though. You don't want to miss it.
No, leave it running for the watch time, and then rewind when you come back home.
That works. That works.
And enjoy yourself. It's funny because the whole, what are today's holidays is supposed to be like, wow, I really have to pee. We might have to do like a break in the middle.
Interesting.
Anyway, the whole intro holidays is supposed to be like the intro. What are today's holidays is supposed to be the intro, and
we got
like
a little
30 minutes in. We're doing good though. That means we're making good time.
Yeah.
So today, ladies and gents, we wanted to do some tier lists.
I added one, by the way.
Oh,
I want to know
Lord,
what you
have
think
mercy
about
on my
it.
soul. So when we've been gaming at episode 4 for a long time. I've been using new software, I'm all the Adobe suites and everything, and trying to move the platform from audio only to video, from Spotify to YouTube. What the SoundCloud, not Spotify. From SoundCloud to YouTube, and just adjust to this whole kind of new thing that we want to do.
Yeah.
And right before this podcast, we were like, what are we going to talk about? I said, I don't know. I'm going to let the liquor do the talking, which is just a stupid idea. But then we settled on tier lists, which is kind of a tired idea, but they're fun. They give us, we're going to do some tier lists. Why not? So, Ethan, the first one.
Well, let me ask you if you approve.
Okay. Oh, yeah. What's the one you added?
It's the major world powers.
What? So,
countries.
So we just ranking countries?
Yeah.
Okay. Put it before.
Put
it before the last one, and if we have time to get to it, we'll get to it.
Okay.
Okay. So what I'm going to try right now in my recording software, and we'll see how it goes. I'm going to resize us to include your stream. There we go. And I'm going to move us back to the middle. Perfect. Okay, so now I can see you're on the Mozilla homepage.
That's right.
So
it's going to go dark. It's going to go dark, though. They are on dark mode.
Good.
So I'm going to be a little dark.
Easier on the eyes. Okay. So open up our first tier list. What is it?
So we have Pink Floyd albums.
Pink Floyd albums. I was actually discussing, I forget who I was discussing, but I had finally figured out like which order of Pink Floyd albums that I would put the big 4 in. If you're listening to this, you probably know who Pink Floyd is. But if you don't, now you definitely know what album you should probably go to based on this list.
That's right.
So, what's the first album in the row there? Is that Animals down there? It looks like it.
Yes, it is.
Animals.
So that's what? Pigs, sheep,
pigs on the wing.
Dogs, pigs, sheep, pigs.
Yeah. And oh my God, they're just bangers of tracks, dude. They're insane.
I feel the Pigs on the Wing 1 and what is it, 2?
Yeah.
Those are probably the low point.
Yeah, well, by themselves, obviously they don't hold a candle, but they're perfect like openers and closers to the album. You have a nice little guitar ballad, then this whole...
I will say this album does demonstrate Gilmour's ability to play guitar.
And Roger's ability to write a song. Good Lord.
Yeah.
I guess for the people who don't know what these albums are about, we should probably give a brief rundown because I want to introduce you to good music. Animals is a Pink Floyd album essentially about the human experience. And it divides types of humans into 3 categories, which are dogs, sheep, and pigs. And each of these songs are anywhere from 11 to 20 minutes long.
17.
Dogs is 17 minutes, which is the longest on the album.
Well worth it.
Absolutely worth it. It's this epic journey of what it means to be a dog in society. and it has the individual song Dogs, as well as Sheep and Pigs. If you take those individual songs out of the album, they have just such a great narrative on their own, where they do this explanation of what it means to be this animal, and then flip it on its head and say, well, if you're this, look, it seems silly to say, like, I don't want to spoil it, but I don't want to spoil it. It's just such a masterpiece of a couple songs. Wow. Yeah, I would put Animals.
I'd say it's definitely A or S.
What is it? S-A-B...
S-A-B-C-D, and then not available.
Not available. Oh, for like if we just haven't heard it?
To. Yeah.
Did you add that?
Yes.
Smart. I would put Animals at an A tier. I would put it at...
What brings it down from S tier? Let me ask you that.
Well, this is kind of cheap, but the only thing keeping it from S tier is I know that there's a Pink Floyd album that is better than this.
Yeah. Okay.
And so for that reason, I can't put Animals at the top tier if there's an album that's better than Animals.
Well, you can have more than one in the same tier too. Don't forget that.
Oh yeah. No, but I would give it I wouldn't say they're both on the same tier though. Animals is excellent, superb in every way. The musical ability, the lyrics, the whole narrative that it presents. Yeah, I would put it in A, because there is that other album that, people...
Yes, we know.
Might know what it is. But I would put Animals at an A tier. Yeah. And with that, we're going to continue our Pink Floyd list right after this short break, sponsored by Aaron's Uncontrollable Bladder. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our Pink Floyd tier list. Thank you for being so kind as to wait for that little pee break. I don't know if I'm going to add a little interlude or something silly in between there, but if you notice a hard cut, it was because I went pee, but you know that because I said it. Welcome back to Pink Floyd. We put Animals on the A tier for reasons we already explained. Okay, so now what's the next in line here? Adam Hartmother?
We have, I believe that's the name of the album, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Adam Hartmother. That's the cow one.
Yeah.
Honestly,
a 23-minute song here.
Oh, was that Alan's Psychedelic Breakfast, or is that Adam Hartmother?
No, Adam Hartmother is 23 minutes.
I haven't actually listened to that song, I have to say. I don't think I've listened to the full album, but there are a few songs that I really like. And it's not that it's a bad album at all. I think just some of the songs are a little weird, as some 70s bands were. So it's kind of difficult to listen to, I think. And also Pink Floyd has these other albums that are just so many leagues higher than this. Even though this is still good. It's not a bad album at all. So
I haven't heard the songs much, so I don't really know too much of how I would rate it, but I just did a little skim through, so I have a gist.
I think I would put this at, let's see, A, B, C, D. I'd put it at a D.
I was thinking C. I didn't
Not because it's a bad album, but just because if we're in specifically a Pink Floyd tier list, we have to take into consideration everything else here.
Okay.
What do you think?
Okay. I guess, because it's not really...
That's a fair point, right?
That spectacular of an album.
Yeah. So this next one, I don't know the name of it. I have heard a song off of it, like Spanish guitars or something Spanish. Some kind of song in Spanish.
I don't know anything about this album.
Should we just pop it in the not available? Not applicable? Yeah.
But this is about to get political.
So Dark Side of the Moon, obviously one of the big
Everyone knows this.
This is the Pink Floyd album, is Dark Side of the Moon.
I guess rightfully so in a certain sense.
Rightfully so, yeah. I don't think people might say like this is like it's an overrated album. And like when I'm listening to it on shuffle, I know, sue me because I listen to my songs on shuffle. That's Dark Side of the Moon and everything. But
That's wrong.
when I just like see it on, I just skip because I'm like, oh, it's just Dark Side of the Moon. And then you listen to it and you forget like how superb of an album it is.
Yeah.
So Dark Side of the Moon, I would
Excuse
say, because music is up to interpretation. Dark Side of the Moon, I would say, is about the human experience. So
That's 2 albums.
no. Where Animals is about like I would say the human condition and the subdivisions of society.
Yeah.
Dark Side of the Moon is like what
This
the
is like
human
you as a
experience
person.
is like on an existential level, like being
Yeah.
born and the conflicts that you face
'Cause, like,
just existing.
even the last song, it's just all that you are, all that you eat, all that you see, all this stuff. It's just like kind of putting in front of you like that's all you'll ever be. That's one of the lyrics.
Yeah, is all you'll ever be. Yep. And just saying that I mean eclipse, everything you are, touch, taste, love, hate is all these things under the sun, but like the sun is eclipsed by the moon anyway, which is
Yeah.
I think I might have to do some more thinking on this, but I like to think of Dark Side of the Moon as like an existential piece of art where you look at the different philosophies like nihilism, existentialism, and absurdism. Very similar.
Yeah.
They all draw the conclusion that life is meaningless, but what they do with that conclusion is different. So like nihilists, life is meaningless and well, that's just the way it is. So I'm just going to do what I want until I die. And absurdism is like life is meaningless. So it's up to you to create a meaning to make your life worthwhile. Existentialism is something similar. I'm not going to pretend like I know the differences between the two. I just know they share that same conclusion. Yeah, I just feel like Dark Side of the Moon is a very existentialist view on life through music. The Great Gig in the Sky, which is a song off that album, one of my favorite Pink Floyd songs of all time. No lyrics, just a lady wailing the notes. Oh, Lord, so good. It has brought me to tears on more than one occasion. And I'll drink to that. That's right.
One thing to say about that song in particular, at least, is I remember reading somewhere that's actually, when you hear this song, if you could go into the mindset of it as it's kind of like someone's life,
I told you that.
You did?
I told you that. Because I said at the beginning, it's like this big crashing. And when the lady's singing, it like when you hear it, it almost sounds like a baby crying. And it's like this explosion of life. And then at the end, the part that that has brought me to tears on more than one occasion is at the end, because there's another song off this record called Time. And one of the final lyrics. Are you receiving a phone call? Welcome back, everybody. We sit here and we do things live, and sometimes you just got to take a call. And Ethan had to take a call. You stupid idiot.
Okay. Great Gig in the Sky.
I believe the point I was making before was that there was a track on this album called Time, and one of the final lyrics is hanging on in quiet desperation is the English way. And as Great Gig in the Sky approaches its third act, like it feels like the piano slows down, everything slows down, the drums go away, and it's like the song's about to end, but the woman who's singing, her vocal, like it's like she's trying so hard to hang on to this lifeline that is Great Gig in the Sky.
Yeah.
And it still persists. It just goes until it doesn't. And it gets me every time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you have any thoughts?
I just feel like the story that the album tells is very relatable in a sense
Sure.
to many people who, have had that midlife crisis of
I've been in a midlife
why.
crisis for the past 3 years, man.
And I mean, not to flex or anything, I had a small phase of like a week, but I
Lucky
came to
man.
terms. I'm very resilient, so I came to terms pretty quickly with myself.
I cannot come to terms with existence.
I feel that this album is definitely, despite like, I don't want to be like the person that puts it in S because everyone says, oh, this is the best album they have.
No, forget outside biases.
I feel that this album, not even just from like a lyrical, like the story it tells, but also the craftsmanship
sonically
of it, the skill of
everyone,
the way they use the sounds in it.
Everyone who's credited with production of this album is supremely talented.
Yes. I mean, as always, me being a guitar player myself, I always love that in the songs.
Yeah.
And I feel
you can respect it.
Yeah, Gilmour definitely did write a really, really good solo for the song Time.
Yeah.
And it's not even just like it's a guitar. So like even the way I feel like the way he plays guitar still goes with the mood of the album somehow.
Yeah, he's very good at getting a tone and the structure of his solos. He's very good at matching that to the tone of the whole album.
Yeah.
Also, the Any Color You Like solo.
Yes.
I'll drink to that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel this could be S tier.
I wanted to give it A tier for the same reason that I gave Animals A tier.
I feel that this album could maybe even be on par with obviously the one we're thinking about.
The one.
I feel that they're both good in their own ways, but they're both masterpieces of their ways.
I will tell you what, even though Dark Side of the Moon is such a masterpiece, I do like Animals more.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I just like Animals more. So I would, oh man, but Dark Side of the Moon is too good. I would put it with Animals at an A.
I think it ranks either with Animals. For me, I like Dark Side of the Moon more. I feel it's above Animals, if not in that same tier.
Put it in S. It's worth an S tier. It's worth an S tier.
There it is.
I personally wouldn't, but just objectively, it's worth an S tier. What's this next one? The Division Bell?
The Division Bell, yep.
So this was after Roger Waters left. And Roger, for those who don't know,
a bit after.
He was the bassist and he was responsible for writing a lot of the albums that Pink Floyd did when he was part of the band. So Animals, Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, The Wall, those were all written by Roger Waters. And me personally, I put lyrics before how a song sounds.
Interesting.
And Roger Waters, not just in lyrics, but in terms of writing these big, grandiose concepts that a whole album has to cover, he's a genius. He is a genius.
Yeah.
So
I would say this is right along Adam Heartmother.
Oh yeah. So yeah, getting back to the point, Division Bell was one of their later I think the 90s.
94.
After Roger left. And admittedly, this was there is an album they made after Rogers left that I like much more than the Division Bell.
Yes. I feel Division Bell is that.
I would put the Division Bell. Oh, is D the lowest one?
Yeah.
Okay, put Adam Heartmother to a C then. I didn't know D was the lowest one. I would put
Okay.
Division Bell at a D. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Adam Heartmother more than the Division
And
Bell.
here we
Like, it's
have,
just fine. It's not super special.
yeah, the Endless River.
I don't think I've ever listened to the Endless River. That's
Me
their
neither, but
newest
it
one, right?
has 21 tracks. It was released in 2014.
Good lord. I mean, I can't rate it, so I guess not applicable.
I'm doing a quick little go through the songs here.
Are you listening to them?
Yeah, so what this album is it's basically Roger Waters was such a big component of it that it's like after like the Endless River, what it seems like is this album is just gonna be Gilmore trying to do whatever he can on guitar to sound cool.
Yeah.
Is what it sounded like. It's really just the guitar at this point and the sounds.
I mean, if you take a look at each of their solo careers, you can really tell where David's solo albums are really like musically focused and they sound good, but the lyrics are fine. Where Rogers' solo albums are much more experimental, but the lyrics are just, they're slam dunk.
I would say we'd either put this in NA or, from what I heard, a D.
I would put it in NA. I don't feel comfortable giving it a rating in tandem with all these other albums. NA. Endless River gets an A.
The final cut.
The final cut, the pseudo sequel to The Wall. So this album, to me, I love the concept and I love the lyrics, but like honestly, the final cut isn't super musical.
Yeah.
It's more just like a weird concept piece. And it's not bad, but I think it requires a very specific, you have to be in a very specific mood to want to listen to the final cut.
They play this in the Wall movie in between songs, so I feel like this is really just, I guess, a filler for the Wall.
I mean, they use a lot of this same concepts, but I mean, the Wall as a narrative is different than what the final cut presents to us.
Yeah.
But I mean, Not Now John is clearly the banger of the final cut. That's the one song that not is just like very musical the whole way through, but slams. Not Now John slams. So I would put it.
I would say this is.
I feel like I want to put it on tier with Adam Heartmother. Yeah.
Yeah, because Not Now John bumps it up, but the rest of the album really.
It's like you really have to be specifically
listening to. I feel like even.
Yeah. See, all right. What is that one? Momentary Lapse of Reason?
Yeah, Momentary Lapse of Reason. So
this was the first album that Pink Floyd made after Roger Waters left the band. After he fired the keyboardist and left the band. And I know some people don't like that 80s sound, and they don't like this album because Pink Floyd adopts that 80s kind of sound. I love the 80s sound. The campy, cliche 80s sound. You know what I'm talking about when I say the 80s sound.
Yes, sir.
And this album is Pink Floyd and that 80s sound perform coitus and have a child. And for me, that's spectacular. I love it. Now, as a concept, as a whole, composition, no, it's not nearly as strong as Dark Side of the Moon or Animals, but it's got good music, and I enjoy listening to it. I enjoy listening to it more than I enjoy listening to Adam Heartmother and the Final Cut.
I agree. I'm not really a big fan of it, but there are some songs on here that definitely I enjoy.
I know you're thinking of Sorrow.
We're definitely thinking of Sorrow, and that's pretty much the main one.
Sorrow is a track on this album. It's got just a heavy, nasty guitar tone for that intro. It's really spectacular. Even if you don't like the 80s sound, you should listen to Sorrow by Pink Floyd.
Next up, we have Metal.
Metal, the classic
Another 23-minute song.
Echoes. And let me just start by saying this. I think Echoes is overrated.
Really?
I don't think it's as good as people make it out to be. Like, it's cool, but, Also, people say the album covers an ear. The album covers an ear. I thought that was just a meme. But it's actually an ear.
It is?
It's an ear turned sideways. The black part is this bit right here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Where?
The darkest part of the whole album. The little black part in the middle.
No, I didn't see on your ear.
Oh, dude. Are you watching me?
Yeah.
It's that part, the inner part right there.
Oh, you could have just said the ear canal.
The ear canal. Yeah, the ear canal.
Interesting.
Metal has some really good songs. San Tropez is a nice little like a bouncy, easy one.
I'm not a fan of that.
Fearless is a good one.
Do you like Fearless?
Oh yeah. This album, not this song. This album is like the epitome of soft rock.
I would put this.
I would put
this probably either with A Momentary Lapse of Reason or On Tier with Adam Hartmother.
I would put this with A Momentary Lapse of Reason. Definitely a B rating.
Interesting.
Because it's not as good as Animals, but it's far better than, what they have in there.
I must say I'm not... What?
Please. No, please.
I don't have much to say. I'm just not really a fan of the sound of this album.
I like the sound of this album. Well, I think B tier is the proper list because I think it is better than the albums that we have on the lower tiers.
I would agree with you there.
All right, what is this next one? Obscured by Clouds, is it?
Yes, sir.
Obscured by Clouds. Honestly, I would also put this up there with Metal and A Momentary Lapse of Reason. It's one of their earlier ones, but it's got some slam dunkers. Childhood's End.
Right there, yep.
That's Dave Gilmour doing his thing. That's Dave Gilmour doing his thing with Roger's lyrics, and it just a perfect of the two. And again, putting it on the B tier, I think it is better than all those albums that come before it.
It's still even got a little bit of a sound of Metal in it, I think.
Yeah, like Metal and Obscured by Clouds are very I don't want to say I get them confused, but like in my head, they kind of mush together.
Yeah. So this one is The Piper at the Gates of Dawn. I've never listened to this before.
So The Piper at the Gates of Dawn was actually before Dave Gilmour came in.
Really?
And it's when they still had Syd Barrett, which if you know anything about Pink Floyd, Syd Barrett was one of the original band members. And then I don't want to discredit Syd Barrett. I don't know his story entirely, but from what I understand, he did a lot of hallucinogenics. And I don't know whether he did develop schizophrenia or not, but he left the band for one of those reasons.
Yeah.
And
so put that in NA.
What?
We'll put it in NA.
We'll put it at an A just because Syd Barrett?
NA.
Oh, NA. No, I've heard it.
Oh, I haven't heard it at all.
What I was going to say, it's just a lot of really experimental...
So what?
It's like, have you heard Revolver by the Beatles? The black and white album?
I can't say that I have.
I think Revolution is on it, and I think Back in the USSR, maybe.
I will listen to those two.
Well, Revolver's like a really, at times can be a really experimental album. It's like Revolver by the Beatles, but even more like, it's weird. I would put it with the Division Bell. It's just a little too weird. Like it's not like groundbreaking in any way. It's just like we're dicking around with the instruments. And then what's this next one? I can't see it. What is it?
Saucerful of Secrets.
Saucerful of Secrets.
Saucerful. Yeah. Saucerful.
I would put this up with.
I've never listened to this
in the D tier. Just really experimental kind of stuff. I don't think it surpasses Adam Hartmother or the Final Cut. So, take it easy on that one.
Uma Guma. Never listened to this one.
Umaga Muma. Yeah, I haven't listened. I think we might have to throw that in NA.
Wow, it's got
What?
Sisyphus part 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Sisyphus? Is it
Yes.
spelled Sisyphus?
No, Sysyphus.
Oh, Sisyphus.
Sisyphus.
That's a famous philosopher. He's really famous in nihilism, actually. Pushing the boulder up the hill.
Well, NA. And Lord
Mhm.
have mercy, have we arrived.
The Wall.
The Wall.
The Wall. Oh, yeah, there it is.
I could put it where it belongs and then we could discuss it.
I mean, we both know where it belongs. Go ahead and slap it there.
This is the easiest S tier out of any album ever created.
Now, personally, I think The Wall is better than Dark Side of the Moon.
Yes. I
Like,
agree.
not even just by a tiny bit. Like, I think The Wall is considerably better. Considerably. I'm almost done with this drink. Considerably better than
I
Dark
agree.
Side of the Moon. But,
I agree.
you know, we're just doing this tier. We're just going to spitball on it. The Wall, for those of you who are uninitiated, I have it on vinyl. You can't see it from here. The Wall is a story about a character named Pink. It seems pretty clear that it's taking place in World War II. Just about his life. It's a story from boyhood to adulthood, and just his struggles with life and the way he grows up, and his father leaving him for the war and dying in the war, and as he grows older, that creates bitterness in him, and he's building this wall, this emotional wall, to seclude himself from everyone, and we, in the songs, we get to see how that reflects poorly on him and his life. And as he goes through, there's also this narrative of him creating this Third Reich. I mean, it's very, it's pretty much alluding to the Third Reich. He's creating this movement, this army, you know, that he's trying to direct, and he's trying to make it very exclusive. In the Flesh Part 2, you know, he talks about shooting the different races, and even if you just look different, if you have spots, that's one of the lyrics. And there's another one with spots. If you're smoking a joint, like, you're eliminated. Quite literally, they're going to kill you. And it's his rise to power. And then at the end, he realizes what he's done, but it's too late. Now he's already on trial. He's already being convicted by his.
Because once he comes to the realization, the lyrics is, you know, I'm waiting in this cell because I have to know, have I been guilty all this time? And then that slowly fades into his trial. He has this moment of self-clarity where he realizes this tremendous wall, both emotional and physical, that he's built, and this monster that he's created, and he's put on trial by this monster that he created. And just the narrative is brilliant. All the songs bleed into each other, except that is probably, I feel, the biggest thing that made that album what it is not only is it a story, but
it's clearly meant to be experienced as a story.
The songs go together and they fit together so perfectly. The music is like music to your ears, but
yes, sir.
Like, even
There's
better.
Something, because, God, this album is so brilliant, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, man. This album is so brilliant because it creates this narrative. And so it has this musical motif of 0-3. Well, I guess for those uninitiated on the guitar, there's this.
Oh, here we go.
Musical motif that does this. Oh, wait, let me move the strap out of the way.
That sounds horrible.
It does sound horrible, and it's because I have a little bit of gin in my system.
What are you trying to do?
You know what I'm trying to do.
The Hey You?
That noise. Dun, 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 dun. So you'll hear that little riff. Dun, 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 dun. reappears throughout the entire album in different songs. And they use these different musical motifs and place them in different areas throughout the album to allude to what's happening in the album. And it's just such a brilliant, Lord have mercy. I'm just realizing my amp is turned on right now. I was using it at like noon, dude. Oh no, I had to turn it off.
I feel
Lord.
This album is a perfect representation of pretty much the three main components of the band. It's really the mastercraft of Roger Waters with his lyrics.
I'm gonna finish my drink right now. This is it.
The way that they wrote it, his lyrics behind it, the power behind them, the bass in it too is good. Yes. The way Gilmour played guitar in this album, is definitely some of the best playing in his entire career, if not the best. And even the keyboardist,
before he got fired by Roger.
I mean, the keyboard does play a pretty big role in some of the songs, and I think it was really just the master craft of this band. It's what made this band. It showed them off.
This is the peak of Pink Floyd.
Potential. Yes, it's their full potential.
The Wall is the peak of Pink Floyd, easily 100%. Like I said, these songs, they just bleed into each other. This album is meant to be experienced as a narrative, listening to it all in one go. And they do this wonderful thing where the very last song, the way it ends, bleeds right into the first song. And you get to, it implies the cyclical nature of these events. And it's like personal and painful, and it's also grandiose and intense, and it really is the peak of Pink Floyd. It really truly is. And if you haven't listened to The Wall, if you're listening to this and you haven't listened to The Wall, I'm sure most of you have heard Another Brick in the Wall Part 2. We don't need no education. Everyone's heard it. If this sounds interesting to you, these concept albums, you like that classic rock, and you want to listen to The Wall, set aside, trust me, set aside for yourself an hour and a half of time and just go on Spotify, listen to The Wall. All the way through. I'm serious. Listen to it all the way through. Set aside that block of time and listen to The Wall. If you are as appreciative of good writing as I am, you will love The Wall. Do yourself a favor. Please, God. Do yourself a favor.
It's a great album.
It's the best of...
Did you hear the riff earlier when I played it? I don't think it was showing up. I can't even play it.
So yeah, that's the riff. It's a recurring motif that happens all throughout the album.
Of course, the one time I need to play guitar and sound good, I sound horrible. I'm not bad at guitar, people.
By the way, I would just like to... This guitar...
Oh, okay, buddy.
I don't mean to flex, but I'm just so happy about it. It's a Fender American-made aged white. You can see here it's got a Floyd Rose bridge on it. Of course, that means Lock Tuners for my beautiful and wonderful girlfriend for my birthday. This is definitely the most expensive item that I own. So if you're watching this, please don't rob me. I'm just happy to have it.
Disclose your address. So
I didn't disclose my address, and I hope people can't. Well, God forbid this gets big and popular. I hope I didn't give enough away. That, Anyway, so I'm realizing we still have one more album.
Yes, wish you were here.
Which is kind of futile because The Wall is clearly the peak of Pink Floyd. But
Yes, this album is still extremely good. I've been having a recent obsession, actually, with the song "Have a Cigar." I've been listening to it
I have to
more than I should.
say my personal opinion. Oh, also, I'm gonna finish my drink here.
You said that already.
No. But I saved it because cheers to the wall. There we go. Oh my lord. I'm going to want to play Battlefield after this. It's that kind of night.
Good.
Anyway, I like Wish You Were Here better than Dark Side of the Moon. I'll say it.
Okay, let me say this. I think Dark Side of the Moon, as great as an album as it is, I feel that it's better in sections. Like The Great Gig in the Sky is great on its own. Time is great on its own. Brain Damage into Eclipse is great on its own, but as a whole album, like there's just certain points.
Well,
like the first song on the album, isn't it just a minute of instrumental?
I don't know. I think so. Is it Speak to Me?
I think so, and it's just kind of like,
and it goes right into Breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the whole part of the thematic.
Like I understand that, but like as great of an album as it is, and it has such great components to it. Okay, let me say this. You know what I want to do? I'd say Wish You Were Here is S tier, but picture it as S tier is maybe S tier, but picture S tier as a branch, right? The Wall is its own kind of writing, right? Great or Dark Side of the Moon. Dark Side of the Moon is a different kind of amazing, you know? But it's still on that same level. So it's like its own branches of the S tier, you know?
Dude. Okay, if we're just I don't know if I want to put
Wish You Were Here on an S tier, actually.
Based on this tier list that we have, I would put Wish You Were Here in the B tier with Animals, or the A tier with Animals. If I was just doing this tier list alone, I think I would have The Wall as an S, and then I would have Animals and Wish You Were Here as an A, and then Dark Side as a B, and then shift everything else down.
I think that's a little far.
Well, I would just shift that would mean I have to create like an F tier. Not to say that any of these albums are bad per se, but if we're just discussing Pink Floyd, I have to have these separations.
I gotta say that Wish You Were Here is
good.
The first song, Shine On You Crazy Diamond, parts 1 through 6,
is superb.
Is another masterpiece of Gilmour's abilities on the guitar.
Yeah.
And I mean, also, he's just crazy on that.
I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but parts 1 through 6 or parts 1 through 5 way better than 5 through 9.
Yes.
Oh, am I frozen?
Yes, sir.
My phone died. So enjoy the still frame of me while I speak over it. That's where we're at, right? So we were discussing Wish You Were Here?
5 through 9. Parts 5 through 9.
Oh, yeah. Shine On You Crazy Diamond, parts 5 through 9.
It's just the first half. Okay, so I actually listened to that for the first time pretty recently. And the first half, I don't like it. I don't feel that it fits the album. And then the second half goes back into the same tone as parts 1 through 6 or 1 through whatever it is.
Yeah. I think parts 1 through 5 are still just astronomically better.
Yeah.
Than 5 through 9.
And
but
then,
my favorite track off Wish You Were Here is Welcome to the Machine.
I forgot that song was on there. That makes it even better.
It's just so Welcome to the Machine is such like a desperate, when you hear it, it sounds like such a desperate cry for help. Like it's so like it's really sad in a really different way, which is just spectacular.
And then this album really does hit everything, because if you're like the fan of like, the cool sounding guitar playing, you have Shine On You Crazy Diamond. And then if you're more of like the groovy person, Have a Cigar's got a nice
Have a
like
Cigar is
bop feel
brilliant.
to it. And I mean, it's a fun song to listen to. And then you kind of mellow out, the song changes, and then I watched an interview of Gilmore talk about it, and then it's like you in your bedroom.
Nerd.
And the song "Wish You Were Here," for those of you who've listened to it, you'll know what I'm talking about. When it starts off, it sounds like it's playing over the radio, and then you join in. Some dude joins in on his guitar, and what Gilmore was saying, that's just some dude, in his room. It's supposed to be like someone just joining into the song playing, and then the whole gist of that song, "Wish You Were Here," expressing their feelings, and I feel that hits kind of the more mellow kind of those people who like finger plucking and acoustic type sounds.
It's a very nice, easy song.
And then you go into a song like "Welcome the Machine," and that's more.
It's
that hits the experimental.
It's
the intense experimental.
You know what? For some reason, that song always makes me think of the movie 9, that Tim Burton movie.
Yeah,
with the puppets.
Interesting.
Always makes me think of that. But yeah, I guess on this tier list, "Wish You Were Here" is fits comfortably right up there with Animals.
You think so?
Yeah,
I feel
for
this has
this
the
tier list.
capabilities. I feel that maybe has the capabilities to reach S tier. I would put it at like
but I like Animals more than I like "Wish You Were Here," I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Like Animals.
I love Animals. I love Animals.
More than "Wish You Were Here," though.
I think the problem is I like
really
individual songs on "Wish You Were Here," like specifically "Welcome to the Machine." I love that song, but just as a composition and as a narrative piece, Animals is just really brilliant.
Interesting. Okay.
But
I feel that this is a good compromise between our feelings of Pink Floyd. This is the band.
I mean, there you have it. This is our tier list of Pink Floyd albums. There you have it. If you want to get into them, take a look at that, screenshot it. I'm now going to resize our screens back to just the two of us, which is kind of useless because mine is frozen. Oh Lord. Me. But I wish you could see me moving around, being all animated. But wow, that'll wrap it up for episode 4. It's been a long time coming. I'm so glad to be back.
Yes.
Next week we will have Todd Wagner, the chemistry teacher, the legend, on the call.
Hey, calm down. You're cutting out a little bit.
Oh, I'm looking at the audio meter. I'm realizing I'm talking way too loud.
You're not even that. You're really laggy right now for some reason.
Oh, God. Well, so this is all just falling apart as we speak.
Well, in case you guys can still hear me good, we're having the legendary high school chemistry teacher, Todd Wagner, the man himself, is going to be joining us, actually.
That'll be...
That's going to be a great episode.
Yeah, we'll actually have stuff prepared that won't be as loose cannon.
Yeah, this episode, if you guys are still around right now, thank you so much for tuning in today, listening, making it through the whole thing. I know today wasn't necessarily as good as we've had it on other days. We kind of just threw this together last minute.
Spectacular episode. I don't know what you're talking about.
Thank you guys for being here. If there's anything you guys want to suggest, anything you guys want to see, feel free. I mean, we're on YouTube now. It's a lot more interactive. Leave a comment, share it with your friends. If they want to see something, we'll consider it.
Yeah, share it with your buddies. That's the important part. If you want to talk to us,
just get it out there.
I mean, you're all just friends and family, so you can just...
I'll tell you what, if you leave a comment, we will reply. If you show proof that you shared it to your friend.
No. You know what's a good incentive to leave a comment? Every person who leaves a comment, I take a shot.
for the Todd Wagner episode?
Yeah, for the Todd Wagner episode, everyone who leaves a comment, I take a shot.
That's going to be... But you can't just spam comments.
Also, that's probably a joke. Friends. That's probably a joke. Anyway, this has been just a... Wow. My senses are really having trouble. This has been such a joy. I'm so glad to be back. I'm glad we have a new platform. I'm going to shuffle my like songs, and we're going to do it the way we always have and do our acapella of the day, baby.
I forgot that.
We're going to do acapella of the day, baby. Here we go. Let's shuffle here until we get a good one on my liked songs.
Oh.
Okay,
On your liked songs. You have
Modern
a playlist.
Love. I know, but I lost the playlist. Modern Love by David Bowie.
We haven't done this one yet, have
You
we?
want to do it? No, we haven't. We've only done 3 episodes, man.
It's hard for me to tell where you're at.
Yeah,
over
right at the beginning.
Discord.
You have to do the instrumentals, and I'll do the lyrics.
I can't do the lyrics. I don't know how it goes.
Dun, dun.
I'm blanking.
I know when to go out. Dun, dun. I know when to stay in.
Dun, dun.
Gets things done. Dun,
Dun,
dun. I catch the paper boy,
Dun, dun.
but things don't really change. The lag is so bad. It's just the power to charm.
Dun,
Still lying in the rain.
dun, dun.
But I never went bye-bye. But I try.
This is not going to work over Discord.
I try.
Play and
Oh,
see. Dun, 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 dun,
never
dun,
gonna
dun,
fall for.
dun, 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 dun.
Lord have mercy.
It's
We did
Don't
our.
stop.
Hey, you know what? We did our best, and wow, I'm really peaking the audio here.
Hey.
I'm gonna have a fun editing time tomorrow.
we're gonna work on that, guys. We'll figure out
This is.
something to do.
I mean, hey, this is our first endeavor into the video world. I'm using OBS.
Yeah.
This is my first endeavor into OBS. So we're trying to figure it out. We're trying to, do our thing. God bless you for enduring this
Yes.
episode.
Thank you guys so much. Yeah, there's a really, for those of you who even kept up with us on what social media we have to even know that we moved to YouTube. Thank
We have
you.
an Instagram.
Thank you so much. Please, please, please
Please.
share this everywhere
I'm
you
begging
can.
you. Please. I'm begging you.
We're just trying to make the world a better place here.
This isn't even a joke. I'm begging. I'm on my knee. I'm begging. I'm begging.
He's on
This
his
is
knees.
depraved. I'm begging. Nah, I'm just kidding. You can do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Low Orbit episode 4, The Return of the Kings. So happy to have you with us. Next week, Todd Wagner, the legend, the chemistry teacher. We look forward to seeing you soon. Bye. I'm waving, but you can't see it.